Yeah, this isn't really anything pertinent, but I guess it kind of plays into it. During one of Hans Niemann's matches 2 days ago, his opponent broke his king.
Reach for a piece that had been captured, twiddle.
I don't know why.
You know, and he just inadvertently picked up the black king.
Yes, and Hans asked
Which
him,
was
where's my king?
Like, it's not out of rage or anything, I don't think.
What's wrong with you, man? Like, not only that you took it, you also broke it.
So according to Hans, I believe, the reason he did that is because the king's crown wasn't fully attached or something, so he picked it up and was asking Hans if he wanted him to go glue it back together. I don't really know. That doesn't make a whole ton of sense. But he just picked up his king and broke the top off of it for some reason. Not really drama or anything, just something weird that happened to Hans. The real drama is this. Today, Hans Niemann is publicly suing Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru, and Chess.com itself for nothing shy of $100 million. Hold on, it's a long document. Where were the damages? Hold on, give me just a second. I skimmed through it earlier to see how much he was looking for, and now I can't remember what page that was on. Oh, here it is. Niemann hereby requests that the court grant the following relief. In the first cause of action, a money judgment in favor of Niemann against defendants, the specific amount which to be determined at trial, but not less than $100 million plus prejudgment interest. On the second cause of action, a money judgment in favor of Niemann, specific amount to be determined, no less than 100 mil, no less than 100 mil, no less than 100 mil. I'm pretty sure the total is 100 mil, not 400 mil, but I'm not positive. I don't exactly know how to interpret a legal document. But he is suing Magnus Carlsen, his company Play Magnus. He's suing Chess.com, and he's suing Hikaru for all of the cheating slander against him. It's a giant defamation case. I think the $100 million ask here is absolute lunacy. That is, I think that's supposed to be like an intimidation thing, perhaps? I don't know. That is outrageous. Now, a defamation case, I suppose, could absolutely work in favor of Hans, since no one's been able to prove he's cheated in over-the-board chess. And yet they continue to insinuate it, which very likely could hurt his chances of continuing to play at a high level at tournaments Magnus enters. So I think a defamation case was probably bound to happen at some point, but $100 million for it, I think, is craziness. These are some Shadow, Brandon, Infected, Slup, AJ, Skullman, Devious, Abby, and the Prime Carter, and the gift sub, Jupiter, the resub Tone, and Handshake. The resub Sasquatch. So it is 400 million total he's looking for? Okay. Even crazier then. Chess.com's a $1 billion company. Yeah, but this is still an act. Like, I think there's absolutely no world where this comes even close to that ask. How do you prove that you've incurred $400 million worth of damages? No one's made that in the history of chess. If you added up every single professional chess player's winnings for the last 100 years, it wouldn't equal 400 mil. Who's the winningest? Well, winningest might not be the right word. Who's the top earning chess pro from winnings? It's not Magnus. We looked it up. Magnus has earned 9 million throughout his entire career, and I think first place has won 10 million. Kasparov. It was Kasparov. No, it was Kasparov. I'm almost positive it was Kasparov. Let's see. This isn't reliable at all. This is just factoring in sponsorships and everything. I'm just going by earnings, the winnings. Where the fuck can I find that list that we had last time? This is the biggest total winner. Oh, nope, here it is. Anand with 9.5 million and Carlsen second with 9.1. Whoa, wait, what? Never mind. It is Kasparov at 17.2. Okay, yeah. But if you add up all of them together, you would not even come close to $400 million. Adjusted for inflation. Yeah, that's fine. I still think that's fine. Statement still stands. Even helps. Exit Prime, Nostalgia, Step Bro, and the resub Poop, Frozen, Heat Off, Your Mom, and Psycho. Isn't it just an intimidation tactic? Yeah, I imagine, but I also think it just makes a mockery out of it. Hearing this, most people are going to laugh at it. And I feel like this is just not a good idea to aim for something that high, because then it just, to me, throws away all of the credibility of it. Especially when there's statements in here that are really weirdly written. Like, it almost sounds like a blog post. Let me just control F. Like when they call him the king of chess. Here. Over the years, Play Magnus has grown into the 1 and 2 largest online chess companies, second only to chess.com. Carlsen, having solidified his position as the king of chess, believes when it comes to chess he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. Notorious for his inability to cope with defeat, Carlsen snapped, enraged that young Niemann, fully 12 years his junior, dared disrespect the king of chess, and fearful that the prodigy would further blemish his multi-million-dollar brand by beating him again. Carlsen viciously and maliciously retaliated against Niemann for falsely accusing him without evidence of somehow cheating during their in-person game. I don't know, statements like those where it's like, that's not what I would expect in a legal document. Like, what lawyer would write that? Thanks to Prime Philly, Jan, and the resub Meef, Dapper, Luke, Royal, Isora, and Coolest, and Polite. Hans is not representing himself. In fact, the lawyer that is representing him is actually pretty esteemed, from what I understand. He's a tier 1 loaf. And the resub Emmy. And the resub Elliot. Work in a courthouse in the best way I can describe it is 4th grader wrote it and switched words with a thesaurus without changing grammar. I wouldn't go that far. It's not that outrageous. I didn't read all of it, to be fully transparent, but I've skimmed a decent chunk, and just things like this stand out to me for being very not professional, I guess. Like, I just don't know why you'd say things like this in an actual legal document. Thanks to resub Magnus, Vinny, and the Prime Glizzard. Point 9 is even more emotionally charged. When tournament officials refused to comply with Carlsen's corrupt and cowardly demand to baselessly eliminate Niemann from competition, Carlsen lashed out again, this time by boycotting the remainder of the Sinquefield Cup in protest. An unprecedented act for a top chess professional, let alone reigning world champ. Carlsen then confirmed his defamatory accusations against Niemann with a provocative post on Twitter, which had the intended effect of disseminating Carlsen's false accusations that Niemann had cheated against him across the globe. Now, I don't think it's wrong to inject emotion into your lawsuits. I think it's probably important, but this just does not read emotional. It reads almost embarrassing. And asking for demanding $400 million in this is outrageous. Like, I think that's outrageous. Thanks, Resub. Courteous in the prime, Annie. I think there's nothing wrong with the defamation suit because, again, no one has been able to prove Hans Niemann has cheated in over-the-board chess, yet the accusations and insinuations still continue to pile up that he has. And Magnus has said he won't enter any tournaments that Hans is in, which means that's going to definitely have an effect on what he can perform at, the tournaments he can enter. But even still, 400 mil? Nope. That's silly. 100, not 400? Well, that's what I said initially, but chat said it is 400. It looks like the minimum is 100 mil, and he's doing 100 mil on 4 different counts. It's a minimum of 100 mil and 400 mil max. Okay, so that's the range? Okay. It's only 100 mil. Why do I keep seeing people say that? It looks like it is a minimum of 100 mil, and he's got $400 million causes that he's looking for damages from. Which would mean 400 mil max, I think. Thanks the Prime, Smokey, and the resub Toasty, Electric, and Bien. Yeah, I'm gonna moist meter House of Dragon, and I moist metered Rings of Power today, kind of. Thanks the gift sub Scruff. It's 100 mil per defendant with 4 defendants. Isn't it 5? Magnus, Play Magnus, Chess, Daniel, and Hikaru. He's a tier 1 Loep. And the tier 1 generic. What happened? Whose side are we on? There still hasn't been any evidence to come forward to confirm Hans Niemann's cheated in over-the-board chess. But Chess.com did provide evidence that he's cheated in far more online games and online tournaments than he initially let on. So I still think he should address that, but even still, there's no evidence of him cheating in over-the-board yet. Nothing concrete. So I guess we'll have to see. Because now they're going to need to present, like, real evidence. No, it's not defamatory because he did cheat, and here's how. So we've entered the end game here. The ultimate defense against defamation is the truth. Thanks, the resub Kakai. And tier 1 Clue. It's not far-fetched he could get near this much money if he wins. I think it should be. Again, man, if you calculated and added up every single chess winnings for the last 100 years, you wouldn't come close to 400 mil. Chess.com's like $1 billion company, I get that. But him not going to tournaments because of the defamation, there's no chance in 10,000 years he would have made 400 mil from winning. It's not about winnings, it's his feelings, bro. True. You can't put a price tag on feelings at the end of the day. That's a good point. Thanks for 5 gift subs again, Sonia. Hope you're having a good night. Thanks for resub MC and Doink. And the bits waiter. Do you think he cheated? That's tough, man. I've been very staunchly on the side of he hasn't cheated in over the board because there hasn't been any real evidence aside from like running calculations from chess engines to see how close his moves resemble it. But then I also saw those same calculations done for other chess pros, and it's not that outrageous. But then chess.com proved that he cheated in a lot more online games and online tournaments than he said, so that shook my trust in his over the board. But even still, there's no evidence that he's cheated in over the board yet. So it's tough, man. This is a really messy one. I really don't know where I stand on if he cheated in over the board. I really fucking don't. Thanks for the 5 gift subs, Daz. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for that, man. And thanks to resub, Billy. And thanks to the resub, Toast. And thanks to the resub, Glue. This is the type of case that's going to set a precedent? I don't think so, man. I don't think that'll be the case. Maybe. Who knows? But I don't think so. Thanks for resub my bros back. If he did cheat, why would he double down on the lawsuit? Couldn't tell you. I guess if we're going to go like supervillain, the lawsuit would be to keep them scared. Like, okay, I did cheat, but now I'm going to scare them with a lawsuit and maybe settle out of court so they'll stop talking about it. Maybe. I think that's kind of far-fetched, but I can see no other reason why I'd double down with a lawsuit if he actually cheated. The lawsuit speaks for itself. That's actually his tweet. Lawsuit speaks for itself. Discovery about to go wild in this case. They're probably going to have to investigate the claims of anal bead cheating. At least at a surface level. I am very curious to see how this all unfolds. Because now, I mean, it's in motion. This has been filed, as I understand. So this is a very serious thing now. Was the anal bead shit not just jokes? It is. It's just a meme. It's not unreasonable to think that it could exist because it's been proven that it can. In fact, we even watched that video on the guy who made it. What was the name of that channel? I think it was Code Balls. But I don't want to be wrong and type in code balls and get banned. Coding balls deep is what I think it is, but I still just don't want to take the chance since I'm not 100%. You can make it. You can make a stockfish anal beads if you wanted to. I don't think he did, but you can. Thanks to Prime Dr. Katz. What about a cock ring? It can be as flexible as you want. Because it's very small. It's basically just a little modified Raspberry Pi. Thanks to the resub Swaggy, O'Malley, Wild, and the bits Fierce. And the bits Extinct and resub Chris. And the resub Pirate. If he cheated in other tournaments prior to the large-scale tournaments, doesn't that invalidate his achievements that allowed him to enter said tournaments? Yes and no. It's two different formats. There's online, which is what all of the evidence came out against Niemann for cheating in online tournaments, which he owned up to, but was a little vague on the scope of how much cheating he's done in online formats. And then there's over the board, which there's still no evidence to confirm Niemann has ever cheated in. So they're two separate things. That'd be the best outcome, Auntie. That'd be good. Thanks, Resub Egbert and the Prime Sleep and the Resub Jake. Wouldn't you agree that if he could cheat, he would cheat in over the board? I can't speak for him, man. I'm not inside his brain. I have no idea. At this point, I think Hans just got lucky this first time and it's blown way out of proportion. It's not just the win against Carlsen. That's the one that drew the most scrutiny, obviously. But he's been on this absolute tear. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Hikaru. Someone pulled up Hans Niemann's trajectory to the top versus all of the other greatest chess players of all time. And Hans Niemann is just a straight fucking meteor. Like, it is just... Well, meteor would be the opposite. It's a straight fucking rocket ship. Like, it's just only straight up. He hasn't had any plateaus. He hasn't had any downward trends. He's only going up. Which is uncharacteristic of every other greatest chess player of all time. So it's not just the Carlsen game that people are skeptical of. But there is no evidence that he's cheated in those games, the over-the-board ones, man. It's because he's 19 and other chess GMs are 40. It's condensed. That's fair. I think that's a fair criticism. But didn't he look at like a Magnus when he was young too? I think that was on that list, right? He's a resub. Levelis, Tyrannus, Notorious, Grilled Cheese, Sour, Raccoon, and a bit sleep. Thanks, Sleep. That's possible. It is worth mentioning. Hans Niemann's coach, Maxim Delugi, was publicly outed as a cheater. Confirmed cheated in tournaments online. That is correct. Maxim Delugi is an actual cheater. I think he's also suing chess.com because they released his emails when they said they wouldn't. They released some of Maxim Delugi's emails where he says, like, yeah, I cheated. I had my students playing for me, but I didn't know they were using a chess bot. Chess.com released those emails publicly, and I think he's suing them because they said they wouldn't do that. There's a resub Goober, Slushy, and Aussie in the Prime. Hakaru? You must admit that's fair. What, chess.com releasing the emails or Maxim Delugi suing because they said they'd be confidential? Enjoy the Wingstop bean. The tier 1 Griffin. I'd assume his suing is fair. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends. I always think cheating in tournaments is a matter of public interest. Like, you should publicly let people know when someone's cheating in your tournament. Not only is it a good deterrent, but it lets people know, like, there was something fishy afoot, this person is no longer a trusted competitor in this atmosphere, and something needs to be done about it. Here's the proof. I don't like when people keep cheating under wraps. I think it is an important thing to make public for the health of the sport going forward. But as far as Maxim Delugi suing because they said they wouldn't release it, I don't know how legally binding them just saying like, yeah, bro, trust us. It'll be between us. These are some Spicy and Stardrift. I caught that going by, Steel, but don't do elevated messages, man. It's a scam. Hans just finished the tournament yesterday where he maintained his high performance with very strict anti-cheating measures. Did that tournament wrap up? That's the one where his opponent broke his king, right? How did he place? Is there some brute? Is there some hollow? Tied for 5th. That's pretty impressive. Is the resub tease? What's wrong with elevated messages? Bro, I can't see them. I literally can't see them. The only reason I saw it is because it was in my chat for like a second. It's a scam. Where do they go? They go under the stream. Thanks for resub Ed and Banana. And Devin. Yep, that's the latest development here. I haven't actually read what the subreddit's been saying about it. The chess subreddit actually memes pretty hard, and I appreciate that. I did see this, but haven't watched the clip yet.
Do that.
No, obviously, you know, Hans is in the right here, and, you know, I'm a chess.com streamer, but fuck chess.com and fuck Danny Wrench. Other than that, I'm a chess.com streamer. But yeah, they obviously,
goddamn,
you know, were salacious and outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well,
thanks, Kangaroo.
Hikaru said some stuff, Council, but I agree. I don't know if it was something that.
Jesus. Hey, that's strong right there. Thanks, resub Devin, Lord, and the gifts of Milky. Thanks, a resub Sam's. Hans Niemann is an admitted cheater in online chess, which is different from over the board. They're two very separate formats. But yes, he has admitted to cheating in online games. Thanks, resub Swan. Thanks to the resub radio. The chess.com report said the last time Hans got caught cheating was 2020, which is also what he said in his interview. Yeah, but what he didn't say in his interview that the chess.com report revealed is that he cheated in more online tournaments than the one that he did in when he was 12. I believe they showed that he had cheated in an online tournament as late as 2018. I think. I'm going off memory now, so I might be a bit off. But they showed that he had cheated in more than just that online tournament when he was 12. For prizes.